Hello world of YouTube, and welcome to the last episode of Tier Time for 2022, the show where I get niche with it. And I've been getting niche with it in so many different facets throughout this year without addressing one big elephant in the room, and that is an episode that I've been kind of teasing ever since I really started this show with the episode on The Last Huzzah. It is another posse cut episode of Tier Time, and it's taking a look at one of the most highly anticipated hype tracks, posse cuts of 2013, A$AP Rocky's 1Train. The centerpiece of A$AP Rocky's Long Live A$AP, it was a posse cut that had so much hype behind it once it was released, or once the track listing was announced for Long Live A$AP. A lot of people wanted to hear these guys all in the cut together. You know, you had A$AP Rocky, who it was his record. You had Kendrick, hot off of Good Kid, Mad City. You had Joey Badass, hot off of 1999. You had Yellow Wolf amidst his shady tenure. Danny Brown didn't drop Old yet, but he was building hype off of his Triple X and off of his 30 mixtape and the features that he had done. You got Action Bronson, who was generating a lot of buzz. And then you had Big Crit, who was hot off of not only one of his best mixtapes, but his major label debut, Live from the Underground. All these dudes were hot in 2012, 2013. So this is like a great meeting of the minds. And I mean, honestly, I think it's a really good song. It's one of my favorite posse cuts, for those who don't know. I think that it's everyone here shines in their own way. I think that definitely there are some that shine more than others, and that's why I'll be ranking their verses from F to S, going in chronological order, starting with A$AP, ending with Crit. I'll have the verses here for those that would like to read while I'm talking about them, and that's gonna be the format. Starting with A$AP Rocky, I think he starts the track off on a great note. I think the flip of Missionary into Pistols Ready, into Obituaries, into Is You Ready is a great run of rhymes. I think the imagery within there is really good at setting the stage. The X and O play with the Battle of the O's in my bank account, X, the hose in my bed is round the same amount. Great bar. The stretch of Hustlang after Mustang into 1Train is incredible. I think that it's a good starter verse, and I think that if we're talking about setting a stage and building imagery, I think that Rocky did a great job on that, on his verse here, and I think that it's a great start. And I will say his verse leads really well in to Kendrick's, Kung Fu Kenny's, Kendrick Lamar's, who I'm going to make the argument has the, if not one of the best verses on this track. I like all these rappers, some more than others, but I think that these guys, while it is kind of an interesting melting pot given where their careers went, it's cool to see them all, while they're shining bright, together on a song. I just think Kendrick is firing on a caliber above everybody present. Do I think that some of these rappers are capable of writing a verse this good? For sure. I mean, you guys know I got nothing but love for Crit. I think Joey definitely could. I think Rocky definitely has, and Danny definitely has. Yellow Wolf maybe in his prime could have, but like, yeah, Kendrick, he's doing something else way above the what these guys are doing on this verse. He rhymes pro chat with skateboard. That's dope. He's got some wordplay, ad-libs. Those are great. The K9 bar is cool. Like, he's just got really cool, his pen game flex as well. While it's not the only feature he has on Long Live A$AP, I think it's a better feature. I've talked about this verse a little bit in my favorite Kendrick features list video, which this wasn't even in my top 5, but I really like this feature. I think his flow flip is great. It's a good sort of transition to the flow of Joey's, that Joey kind of adorns in his verse. Like, there's a real potent charisma throughout this entire verse that's just incredible. And I like his verse on Fucking Problems, but this is just next level shit in comparison. I think it's a great verse. Again, it's not my favorite Kendrick verse, but it is easily the, if not one of the best verses on 1Train, and it's wild that it's the second one. Joey picks up from that, though, very, very well. I love the barely even conscious into conscience into like conscious bars. I think that those are really good rhyme spinning. I like a lot of the imagery in the first half, like the I don't drop bars, I drop prisons, I don't sell rocks, seeing the spectrum through the prisms. That's a great bar. I like how he dips into being profiled into his verse and then juxtaposing that with a meeting with Jay-Z. Like, there's a good sort of arc to this verse that I think sets it apart from a handful of the stuff coming up in a way that I think lets Joey's ability to pen some bars shine. Is it my favorite Joey verse? No, but I do enjoy the verse a decent amount. You know, I think it's a good come down from Kendrick, because I definitely think that it, again, kind of reaches a peak there, but I don't think it's as good as Kendrick's. I'd say it's as good as Rocky's. I think that what Rocky does at like setting a stage and giving some imagery, Joey does as well in a way that sort of carries the kineticism from Kendrick incredibly well, that I feel like gets juxtaposed really harshly with Yellow Wolf. Listen, I like Yellow Wolf. I think that Yellow Wolf, when he gets in the cut, he could do it well, but I've seen him write better bars than this one. I really don't like this verse from Yellow. I think that the best line on it is the best bars of the last two bars. I think that ain't no rapper been this cold since Tupac was froze and thawed out for a spot date at a Coachella show was very timely, but also like he really pens like a good rhyme with that. I think that him talking about his rags to riches sort of style in Radioactive Success is, you know, similar to like where Joey's at energy wise. I just don't think that it's like as good. I think that he has an awkward jump in from Joey in a way that just kind of fumbles. He picks himself back up, but I've seen Yella do better. And it's easily my least favorite. That is definitively my least favorite verse on 1Train. Like, it's fine. There's other, like, I think that this part is awkward, but like it eases well into this part from a flow perspective. His flow is like his worst component on this. He just doesn't ride this beat well, in my opinion, and it's awkward. But I will say, I think Danny picks that up from Yella and brings it back to a much higher caliber. Like, I enjoy Danny's verse on this a decent amount. I think it was in my top 5. Again, I've talked about this verse because I did a Danny Brand features video, so I've talked about this verse already. Bitch, pussy smell like a penguin. That's like, it's such a good like transition bar, like, because it's meant to cement the scheme a little bit, while also kind of flipping into just a different story from the antsy cause I'm high like Michael Jackson, Penny Loafers, Moonwalking on the Sun, which is incredible reference play, but like it's a tangent from this. But then to also say that he wouldn't hit that shit with my worst enemy's penis. Damn. He may be on his lawless, obnoxious, on the suck my cock shit, but it's not quite to that place for him. But no, this is a great verse. I think his flow is much more in the pocket. I think that his reference play is to the same caliber he had been firing in during his highs. I feel like it definitely embodies Danny's personality to a T in that part of his like era, in that era that he was in. Like, I think that it's not my favorite feature of his, but it's a damn good feature from him regardless. And then Action Bronson comes into play, which, I mean, I like Action Bronson. I wouldn't say I'm like his biggest fan, but I do like him. I think he's got some great jams. I think he's got some great projects. You know, he knows how to ride a beat really well, and he lets his personality shine in some really nice ways. I think the only time I've reviewed his project was one I happened to not like, but I don't hate Action Bronson. I do I do pull the Ghostface joke a lot just because it's kind of easy to, but like I got no real beef with what Action's got going on. I This verse isn't my favorite one of his. I think it's kind of like a tangential verse, but like I enjoy some of the bars in it. Like my shorty gallop in the morning. Nope, that's Danny's incredible verse. Sorry, hold on. Like like my shorty gallop in the morning on the beach like a Chilean horse. That's a decent line. I like the run from outstanding. I fixed a game between Georgia Southern and Grambling. You see Scrambling selling Susan Sarandon. The cloud of smoke like the phantom. That's a pretty good bar with a nice image in the end. It's just not my favorite out of the dudes that are in the cut by and large. It's fine, but it's not like my favorite verse of his or my favorite verse on the song by a mile. But again, he does what he does best on here. He's got that vibe on check. He rides that beat. He gives you some good images. He gives you some decent lines in there. But it closes with Big Crit running a gambit though, which is dope. I've thought about doing a Big Crit features video. He's not the Southern rapper I'm doing. Obviously, I did Denzel. I may do Crit features someday. I like Big Crit features, but I would say they're not my favorite thing to hear him do. He has great features. This is definitely one of them. He just runs a hell of a gambit. His flow like bends to where the other rappers have been at on this beat, because there's kind of a universal flow that kind of gets adorned on this beat, and he does that, but then flips it into his own caliber, into his own realm. And I think that it's really, really good. It's cool to see him do that. I think that his word chopping on here is pretty fucking good. I think that he's got some great bars. The aftermath, ask a bra and open palm, slap a bitch, walk the plank, or break a bank. I've been in the business of sinking ships. That's insane. Great imagery in there. Great metaphor spinning. Incredible. He's got some bite on this track that I love to see Crit come out with, because when he does it so well. But he's also just chopping it up in a very Crit way. I think it's great. I don't think it's as good as Kendrick's verse, but I think it's the closest. Him and Rocky, I think, come the closest to like reaching that point. Like if I were to put them like, because that's the thing. Even Yellow Wolf, like, he's fine. Nobody's doing a bad verse on this song. There's just some that do it, like, relatively better than others outside of the... Again, I think Kendrick is just easily... Like, Crit and Rocky, definitely close. I think that Crit is a great closer because he's got this long gambit of bars he's just coming to the table with. And I think that he demolishes this beat. And I think that it's an incredible... flex type verse in a different way than like Yellow was doing or Joey had done in the back half of his verse. You know, it's Crit doing it in a way that just kills. I'll go to bat for Crit, and I think that he does a really good job on this track, in my opinion. And that's kind of how I would rank the verses for 1Train. Do you like 1Train? Is it a posse cut that you go to often? Have you heard it recently? If not, listen to it and let me know how you would rank these rappers in their respective talents on this song. If you like this tier time, give it a like. If you want to see more of my music, gaming, and general notary content, be sure to subscribe. Special thanks to my patrons. If you want to join their ranks to get early access to content, exclusive content, or to help drive the community, it's linked in the description. I'm going to go, though. Thank you again so very much for watching. I've been Viral Rack. You guys have good days, lives, and situations, and I'll see you another day.